Good evening, everybody. It's not a morning. We were actually shooting this on a Saturday night. I'm super excited. Another episode of the Keep Going podcast, Athletes Shining a Light on Mental Health. I got Big Dave. We're all wearing flannels, which I think is pretty cool. What's up, Dave?
How are we doing, Pete?
I'm feeling really good, man. Saturday night, vibes are high. We're heading out to Connor Murphy's 30th birthday party. Shout out to Connor. Great guy. Can't wait to see him. It's been a while. Ash, what's up, girl?
Oh, nothing much. It's nice seeing you.
Yeah, it's like I haven't seen you for the last how
Yeah.
many days straight. It's awesome. Well, for everyone that doesn't know, this is my fiance Ashton. We're excited to get her on her own solo episode today. And I guess, Ash, before we go into anything more in depth, talk about what mental health means to you.
Mental health means a lot. Initially, growing up, you really don't think much of it until you really kind of go through the ringer. A lot of people that I've played alongside, either they've had a really good experience with their sport and they have no regrets playing, or they've had that one kind of interaction that kind of changed their entire mindset of the sport and the atmosphere that it brought, and it just kind of ruined it for them. And with that being said, what you guys are doing and speaking up about mental health, it means a lot, and it's showing a lot of athletes that it's okay to reach out. That's encouraged. So it's very, very important. Very important.
I appreciate that. And we appreciate the kind words. And I think when we started this, and Dave, this is pretty cool. Our 2-year anniversary was earlier this week. And Dave got a great post out there. And like, there's a lot of bells and whistles that go with mental health and spreading the awareness. But if we're not impacting people, then why are we doing this? And I find that myself, Dave, Luke, Jackie, everyone that's helped us along the way, it's about making people feel like, hey, you belong here. You should be here. And I think mental health is awesome in that respect. Dave, anything on that?
Yeah, going off that, I just want to, before we continue here, it is International Survivors of Suicide Loss Day. So we just want to shout out that, make it aware, make it okay to reach out. There are people out there to help you. It's not a bad thing to reach out to someone that you may know, a friend, a coach, a mentor, or professional help in that manner before we continue today.
No, I agree, Dave. And I appreciate that post today as well. I saw that once I got out of the facility. It's like, I think that puts people in a really tough headspace at time. Talk it out, talk to friends, talk to teammates, coaches, like Dave mentioned, and really just open up about it. You will feel better for sure. Well, Ash, that's a great segue into kind of your softball career. Obviously, pretty awesome resume. JUCO pitcher of the year, all-state high school player, Division I full ride, and now obviously helping athletes at Athletes HQ. Talk about softball and when you got started.
So yeah, I started t-ball, of course. Played with the boys, a little baseball. That's kind of where my love fell for it, with my little pink glove and girls rule pink bat, of course.
Fair.
And from there, like, of course, my parents, they really wanted me to try everything. They didn't want to put all eggs in one basket from the get-go. So I tried soccer, realized my feet aren't that coordinated very quickly. The ball would be 15 feet away, and then all of us would just be in a circle kicking each other's shins. So we weren't really knowing what's going on there. So besides that, basketball, I love basketball. But at the same time, it just didn't hit home like softball did. I knew right away that, okay, this is something I really want to pursue. And my parents bought into it and gave me the instructors, put me on the teams that would get me there. So I played for Illinois Gold for about 4 years, and I contribute most of my success to Brian Fournette. He was one coach that really stuck with me. He believed in me from the get-go. So is DJ Johnson. He knew me first, actually. He's the one that allowed me to kind of move up with Brian and work with him. And DJ was the assistant coach for Rock Valley College. So it kind of became full circle when I ended up playing there for 2 years.
Go Golden Eagles. Let's go.
Eagles. David knew.
Yep, you already know. You already know.
You already know. Go.
And from there, college is definitely a different experience. Rock Valley, it sure prepared me for Division I. It's unlike any other softball program I've ever played for. The culture that they represent, the vigorous work that they put in day out, the coaching staff, and just the the overall feel, like I can't express anything greater than winning a national championship with the girls that you wake up with at 5 in the morning, and you go to bed late at night talking to them about your day, or encouraging each other to go when the going gets tough, encouraging them to keep on moving. Try your best. If you fail, that's okay. We play a game of failure, that is softball. There's a lot of sports, but definitely baseball, softball world.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, it's been a crazy ride from Rock Valley. After we won our national championship, my name got put out there, and I got recruited to play Division I softball for Stony Brook University in Long Island, New York. So definitely not a hometown feel anymore. So I got the opportunity to travel across the country and play for a really great team and meet a whole new family out there. And one thing I just want to note too, with being a part of sports and any sport you play, it's such an honor and privilege to meet so many great people. Like, you are given a family, an extended family, every time you go. And I can happily say that the girls that I've met at Rock Valley and the girls that I've met at Stony Brook, those are the girls that are going to be in my wedding, our wedding.
Pretty nice to talk about that, huh? Yeah, go ahead.
I know. I love them to death. It was a great ride, but at the same time, it wasn't easy by any means.
Yeah, stay there. I think obviously with myself and Dave, playing college baseball and coaching and working with hitters, right? Like, it's not going to be easy, right? It's not. There's a lot of people there that you touched on, your parents, your friends, your teammates, your coaches. Talk to an aspiring student athlete right now that is going through these ups and downs, these grinds daily, trying to chase where you've been so often. What would you tell those student athletes?
Yeah, it's a process, trusting the process. If it's new stuff that you're learning, or you're not quite getting what the coaches are instructing you to do, to buy into it. They've been through it. They know what they're doing. It may be uncomfortable, but getting uncomfortable makes you comfortable, if that makes sense.
So it does. It does.
You adapt to it. You grow from it. Like, there's this one guy, I don't know what his name is, I forgot, but he says pressure makes diamonds, and it was like this biggest meme blow up. I forget his name, but he's like a video gamer.
Yeah.
But that's true. Pressure makes diamonds.
Yeah.
The harder you press, the harder you work. It's not easy, but the more you gain from it. It's such a rewarding feeling. And I go back to Rock Valley when we won our 7th national championship. We worked so hard to the point where when we won, it felt too easy. Like, we were expecting in our heads, when Monroe, DJ, Vivi, Marquez, when they were all pushing us throughout the winter training and springtime and putting us against really hard teams from the beginning, and we get there finally, and we're expecting like a 4-3 tight game, and we just blow them out of the park. But at the same time, like, that's what you did. You put in the work, you made yourself successful by putting yourself in that spot. So, yeah.
I love that. Go ahead, Dave.
Yeah. The preparation, right? We talk about a lot on the show. Trusting your preparation, that you guys did do the work, and that's kind of where you got your belief from. And that's where I get a lot of my belief from as well. If you're going into an uncertain circumstance, talk a little bit about someone that may be struggling to take on that difficult change or that uncomfortable change situation. Mm-hmm. What would you tell them if someone's struggling with that right now?
Yeah, so I can speak on personal experience with going and transitioning to New York. Completely different ball game, right? Completely different new team. Never met these girls before. I'm just getting close to the coaching staff and at this new competitive level, right? So you play high school, it's one thing. You play travel, it's one thing. You play college, it's one thing. They're all the same game, but at different levels and different paces. So you get humbled really quickly, and you realize, okay, the best of the best are now playing together. You have to fight for that spot, while playing as a team. But, you obviously want to play. You want to put your best foot forward for the team. So it took some time adapting to my role and what it was going to be at Stony Brook. Coming from Rock Valley, it was a change for me, and I think mentally it definitely got to me in terms of I didn't quite understand what it meant to wait for my spot, to wait for my turn. I was always like, oh, I want to play, I want to play, I want to be out there, I want to start. But buying into, okay, you're not ready yet. There's a reason why you're not out there. And for someone who's really struggling, I saw no other point in my life at that time. I needed to go speak to someone about what was going on mentally because I was really struggling. I was confused with myself. I was playing, and all of a sudden I got this heavy case of performance anxiety where I completely forgot how to pitch because I felt like all this pressure was on me for no reason. And I was really struggling. So I reached out to you, obviously. And this is kind of, I'm jumping the gun a little bit on that whole keep going moment. But
Yeah, you've heard that too many times and not know it's coming, huh? Dang, we tried to hide it. Go ahead.
But going off of that, like it was a time where I got pulled because I wasn't performing how I was. I felt like this was this big expectation on my shoulders coming into, Division I program, the eldest, you have to perform, you have to, show why you're there for a reason. And I just started for a reason. I started doubting myself, that I felt like I was letting everyone down, and I just let that negativity kind of absorb me, and in return that controlled my body. If your mind goes, your body goes. I'm a full believer in that. So you just have to really have confidence in yourself through and through, that you're out there, you can do it, and you left no doubt in your preparation. So why are you doubting what you're doing right now in a game?
Yeah. I think it's a reminder, Dave. I think it's a reminder for our listeners, players, coaches, 9-to-5 workers, that when it's getting tough, asking for help isn't a weakness. And not only that, but you have players like an Ashton, right, or other Division I athletes that are at the highest level of competition, and they're going through these things. The best of the best, the 1% are going through this. Mm-hmm. So what I kind of look at it is, what makes you different? What makes you better than anybody else? Everybody feels this way at some point. Everyone's going to get knocked down. Everyone's going to feel insuperior at times. It's how we get back up, and we can rely on our people. Go ahead, Dave. Yeah,
that says a lot about you, Ashton, and the resilience that you got out of your comfort zone, reached out to someone, and got the help that you needed to play at that high level. And then obviously you go on and crush it at the highest level. So that just says a lot about you and who you are as a person. So proud of you for that.
It's very inspiring. It's very inspiring for young athletes and young women that are going through this, that may feel like they don't have a voice. And I appreciate you for being vulnerable and accountable and coming on and talking about that. Yeah. I think as a keep going moment, I think that was it, huh?
Yeah, I will never forget this. It's just kind of embedded in my brain. But while I was at school, I remember just talking to you over the phone, and I felt so helpless. Like I was looking at a photo of my parents and I from when I went to the Rock Valley All-Stars Prep Award ceremony. It's a little athlete ceremony that my town did. And I was looking at that picture, and I was looking at that girl, and she was smiling. She was so proud of herself. She's like, I did it. I got it here. I got acknowledged. And I lost that spark that I felt, that confidence that I had in myself. And it really just dug me down. And I talked to you about it for days and weeks. And I'm like, I don't know if I can do this. I don't know if I can stay out here. It's so far away from my family. I feel like I just kind of lost the love of the sport because I've lost myself in the process. So that was definitely a big moment where I realized, okay, take a step back. Your sport isn't your identity. Just because you played bad doesn't mean that defines you as a person. So let's just reel it in. It's just a game.
When did you know you were back?
Let's see. So after I talked to you, I reached out to a sports psychologist named Danielle Monroe.
Shout out Daniela. Yep.
Yeah, she is amazing. She sat me down. I went to her for like a couple months and we just talked about everything I was feeling and why, and kind of brought it back to my roots and my why for playing. You know, it's the little girl that, you know, she watched Division I softball players. She watched the College World Series. She sees all these amazing athletic women doing big, amazing things, and telling myself and making myself realize again and get perspective that, hey, you made it. You did it. You know, you're here, you're doing it. Embrace the time that you have left, because unfortunately, it does come to an end. I had to hang up my cleats, sadly, this past May, but it doesn't mean that my love for the sport ends. Now I'm helping girls out at Athletes HQ. I'm giving them lessons. I'm being by their side. I'm encouraging them, telling them, hey, if you want it, go for it, because it's there and you can do it. Everyone has to start somewhere. This is where you're ending up. Keep going.
Well spoken, David. She's been to Peterson's place too, by the way, a couple of times now. So it's like we're trying to build that where we're at. Go ahead.
Yeah, that's awesome. Going off of that point, talk a little bit about that transition from hanging up the cleats to now what you're doing now. Has it been hard? Has it been good? Challenges? What have you learned about after your sports ended?
Great question.
So I feel really content. I feel proud of myself after I went over that hump, that obstacle of having that anxiety and feeling like I wasn't myself anymore. I really grinded over the winter season. Pat stood in for me for 8 weeks and I just drilled him, not literally.
She drilled my front foot into the box and spun me out for strikeouts, is what she meant.
No, I did strike you out a lot. But anyway, he helped my ego get back. Anyway, just putting in that work and saying, screw that feeling that you had, like any doubt that you had, remembering your stats. I remember one time Pat literally emailed me article after article that I had about myself, of the accomplishments that I got. And you just need to see it sometimes. Like you get so clouded in your head and you doubt everything that you've done. Like it's imposter syndrome. You believe that you don't deserve anything that you're awarded. You always feel like you could have done more, or there's always something that's next. You know, you don't appreciate the now. And I really appreciated the work that I put in my senior year, and the way that I went out was amazing. That's the pitching tier that I wanted to get at, and that's what I did. So after I finished with that, it was sad, mostly because I'm leaving behind these girls that I've become extremely close with. And I'd have to say that over softball was the most devastating part. They all live on the East Coast, obviously, so I don't get to see them. Shout out Alyssa and Jules.
I'm about to say, you want to shout them out? Go ahead.
Yeah.
They've both been on the podcast, so like it's all good.
Yeah. I miss them so much. It's one of those, but I'm so glad it happened though. You know, it makes up for them when the next time that I see them, it makes it all the more special. And we have so many memories together on the field, off the field. Like that's one thing that I love about sports again is the families that you get from it. And it's something that I'll cherish forever. You don't remember that game that you booted a ball. You remember that night that you went out with your teammates to Cheesecake Factory and you got overloaded with the Oreo deluxe cheesecake and you ate too much of it. You remember that. Yeah. But
it's those little moments for sure that you remember. At the end of the day, it's more than a game.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's the people. It's the molding of men and women across the country, and why we spend time all day in a facility and then come out here and talk about it again, because you want everybody that wants to do this. I thought Ashton said it well earlier. Everybody that wants to do this, you can go do it. We will give you the roadmap to do it. And it's going to be hard. It's going to be strenuous. There's going to be things that come along the way, but I don't know. I'm a big believer in if you go get it, like obviously CJ touched on last week in last week's episode, go get it, lean on your people when you need them, and amazing things could happen. Let's go into rapid fire questions. Like I said, it is a Saturday night. I will be conscious of everyone because looks like we're all in getting out of the house at Tire, which is awesome. Dave, let's go rapid fire. You asked Ashton first.
Yeah, talk a little bit about something that a small change that someone can do mentally to help themselves feel a little bit better.
Yeah, breathing is huge. That's something that I've definitely used time and time again. Whenever I'm overwhelmed, overstimulated, or I'm not quite feeling right with my body, just taking a step back, focusing on your breathing, calming yourself, and then that's a great way to reset whatever's going on. Anything to take your mind off whatever's going on too. I love reading, so that's a complete like mind engrossing thing that you can do. So yeah, that's what I recommend.
I like that. Yeah, it gives you a little bit more perspective and being in the present moment. That's like everything's going to be okay.
Mm-hmm.
For parents out there listening that have kids going through this process in any sport, advice for their parents, because I know you talked about your mom and dad. You talk about your dad all the time about how he was like your brother almost, pushing you, making sure that you can get to the next level. Advice for parents out there that want their kid to play Division I athletics.
Yeah, support them with whatever they decide. Something my parents did, like it's, they sit you down and they have those hard conversations with you, and maybe some days that practice that they just dropped you off or picked you up from, it was a bad day, and now you're contemplating quitting because of that one bad hiccup, and they're like, okay, if that's really what you want to do it, but just know after all the hard work that you've put in up to this point, I don't think you want to let it go to waste. I don't think you're the type of kid or the type of player that wants that. I think you want to push yourself. I believe in you. And that's the most important message at the end of the day, is telling your kids, I believe in you. I have faith in you. I'm here to support you. Any type of training you want, I will get it to you. You want hitting lessons? I'm going to Pat O'Malley.
Oh, here we go. Here we go. I was about to say, I'm jealous of whoever gets to raise kids with you, Ashton Melaas. Dave, go ahead.
What would you tell someone that is transitioning into their first collegiate year of a college sport?
Yeah, definitely be open to the change that's going to happen. It's not going to be the same as high school. It's not going to be the same as travel. You're going to have priorities, strict priorities. You have to invest in your time and your energy with school. Schoolwork's very important, getting ahead on that, and practicing and taking care of your body. I know when we're younger, we can kind of get away with not icing our shoulder when we're done, or stretching or banding, and we're like, oh, okay, call it a day. But once you get older, you realize very quickly that taking care of your body is the most important thing you can do. So making sure that we're really conscientious of our minds and our bodies when we're going through that transition, and doing what needs to be done to be successful.
Absolutely.
Yeah. The best rest at the end, but they also recover better than anybody else. I'm a big believer in that.
Mm-hmm.
Last
and
thing.
Sleep is very important.
Sleep is very important. I agree. Let's wrap up with this. You've really mapped out a nice little story here in your young life, and you're going to continue to stay in the game, stay involved with athletes and just the schools that you've been a part of in general. Would you change anything in this process?
Absolutely not. No, what I've been through, the people that I've met, and the path that I've gone on has defined me as a person, and I really like who I am, and I like the character development that I've made in the meantime, and the path that I'm continuing to go on, which I'm going to be applying for graduate school for architecture soon. So yeah. That was, I always kind of knew in the back of my head, right? Because sports end, what do you want to do with the rest of your life, And that was, I love creating. This is the whole identity self piece that I was talking about, like understanding, okay, you're not Ashton, the softball player anymore. Who are you outside of your sport? And it's Ashton, the creative girl, the project manager, the organizer, I don't know, the bedazzler.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. I'm gonna have to clip that. I'm gonna have to clip that for sure. I love that. No, and that's who you are, Ash. And it's inspiring to hear you talk about, you know, what you've gone through in your future. I'm obviously extremely proud of you. I won't gush you too much on here. Dave, what I will do though is I will let you cap us off and let us get to our Saturday night.
Yeah, thank you so much for coming on, Ashton. I'm super proud of you. I know you've impacted me in a super positive way, and you're going to impact tons of other people that are out there that may be struggling with some type of mental health. Thank you for coming on, and always keep going.
All right, so we're not going to cut it yet. I need big time promo for the YouTube page. I need David Mitchell to turn around, grab the first book he sees off the bookshelf, and tell us about it. Go, David.
Oh man.
Hurry, David. Hurry, David.
You know what? These aren't my books, but there is a book that I am reading right now. It's called The Purposeful Life.
Love that.
And it's just me getting closer with my faith and with God. So if anyone is out there searching for maybe some signs or some purpose in their life, I would suggest that book.
You're an inspiration, David Mitchell. I did not plan that in the prelude. Love you guys. Keep going. Check out the YouTube channel. We all have flannels on. Love you guys. Keep going.
Love you guys.